What up? What up? What up? What up? What up?
What up, killer?
I'm just saying if you're gonna match my energy today, I was just saying see what you're gonna do.
Dog, it is Taco Tuesday. Of course, man. It is Taco freaking Tuesday, dog.
Oh man. But we have made it to another finale. And I feel like this guest is the perfect guest to round off the finale of the promoter series for multiple reasons. Of course, you guys will figure it out, or if you are listening and didn't read the title and read the title already, then you'll know who it is. But I think when we had our promoter, what was it called? We did like a kickoff, right? The kickoff episode for the promoter series. A lot of the things that we listed off, I feel like this specific promoter does all of those things, right?
Check the boxes for each one.
Check the boxes. So when we talk about, like, you look at the Instagram pages of the 20 shows they promote, you look at the swag bags, you look at the overall production, putting athletes first. I mean, they were both athletes, and then I mean, one is one of the top athletes, right? So then it's like they check all the boxes of what the athlete experience want and what a promoter can provide. So we had to, align schedules and things of that nature to get it on. But we're we sugarcoat and we're walking around it. I saw the picture. We got the Jacquee McCrae coming to the stage. How you doing?
God. Why that picture, bro? Really?
It was you in the gym. All your other pictures on your page is like you and Magnum. I had to like separate y'all for the 2 seconds I put you on the screen.
Yeah, I get it. We are together all the time.
But how are you? Can you give us a quick introduction? Because we didn't mention that, you're a veteran, a mother, a grandmother. Yeah. But can you give us a quick intro?
Yeah, so as he said, a veteran Air Force, 20 years. I started competing in women's bodybuilding. I think my oldest son had to be, I think he was like 9 months old when I first competed, and that was in 1994. Yeah, and so I've been kind of on and off competing that long, and I'm a OCB promoter. We have 5 shows, and we own 7 businesses on top of promoting. So I'm busy.
And you are not Jamaican, correct?
No, I'm not Jamaican. I do have this little weird accent because I can speak a couple languages, but I'm actually I was born in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and raised in Fayetteville, North Carolina from the time I was 5 until I was 18. So I don't really know where the accent comes from, but I am not Jamaican.
They say Jamaicans work, they have all these jobs, so I had to just make sure and put that out there. You are not Jamaican.
Right. The jobs and then the accent doesn't help. I get it.
So, but we're gonna hop straight into the episode. So you said you have 5 shows. Yeah. I can honestly say I have attended every single last show that you have promoted. Not like every year, but I have went to one of each throughout the years. Mm-hmm. And I have to say, even the evolution of your shows from even the time we met to the first show you had in Fayetteville, you have a way of making your show bigger and better each year. So I want to start with a tough question of when you get like a critique for a show, whether let's say a negative critique, have you ever got one, and what do you guys do with that critique to make sure that it doesn't happen the following year?
We've only gotten some very small negative critiques, but sometimes that's just comes with being a promoter and the person didn't win and they're not happy. So then they want to say this, that, and a third happened, but we try to go back and make it a very better experience and reach out to that person individually to find out why they felt that way. So we do love feedback from the competitors, but the number one reason why we promote the shows the way that we do, being competitors ourselves, we want to put ourselves in their shoes. And when I compete, how do I want that show to be ran? What do I want in my swag bag? What type of award do I want to get? What kind of feeling do I want to have after the show? So when I think about it from that perspective as a promoter, then I can run the show smoothly and think about them, because that's what I would want. So if for example, if I don't win or I don't place, at least I can say I went away with an awesome swag bag. So that's why I completely swag them out, and I put a lot of money back into the competitor instead of into our pockets.
All right, yeah. First and foremost, like Eric said earlier, y'all do a hell of a job promoting y'all shows. So for the people that's new to, you know, yourself and your other half, can you just name the shows that y'all do promote so everybody have a better idea? You know, they can put a face behind the shows.
So at the beginning of the year, the first one we have is Immortal Muscle, and that's usually in March, and that's held in Beaufort, Georgia. The second one is the one that we have coming up, which is Magnum Muscle, which is named after Magnum himself. And that one is held in the Clemson area, but we will be possibly moving that show next year to Charleston, South Carolina. It's in the Clemson Liberty area right now. And that show is April 19th, which is coming up. The next show we have is the shirt that I'm wearing. That's Divine Muscle. That is also in Beaufort in the same location as Immortal Muscle. And that is in August 3rd to be exact of this year. And that is an amateur only show. The last two that I talked about are pro-ams this year. The next one would be VA Natural. That is a pro-am, and that is the women's show where all 4 categories, figure, bikini, wellness, and women's physique in pro. And that is held in Norfolk, Virginia. And that is on I believe the 7th of September this year. And that is at the Croc Center in Norfolk. And the last one is my hometown, as well as Eric's, is in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And that one is on the 9th of November, and that is called the Battle of the Unrivaled. We kind of changed the name a little bit to Unrivaled because the Battle of the Unrivaled is a little long, and that is an amateur show.
Okay, so with 5 shows, and as you stated at the beginning of the podcast, you got like 7 different jobs. How do you find time to promote 5 shows in 1 year?
You know, I had this one guy who, when I was buying a house in, I believe it was in Hawaii, the real estate agent at that time had 5 jobs, and he was always working. And I asked him, how did he do it? And he gave me one piece of advice that I never forgot. He said, you have the same 24 hours a day, 7 days a week that I do. Why don't you get up and do something? Fill that space. Keep yourself busy. So I don't want to be too busy, but I am busy. And I find time by basically putting what's important first, and then categorizing everything else next. The most important is time with Magnum, time with my kids, time with my grandkids. All of that is first, and vacation and enjoying life. And then everything else follows. So it's just basically organization. The military helped me out a lot with that.
So you spoke of your swag bags, which, I mean, when we talked about swag bags in that episode, you might as well have just cut that part off, because you was like, you do that, you know, but you do something that even goes beyond that, because there's and I'll say this publicly, like, I mean, I don't judge all your shows, but I love judging your shows, because you make special swag bags for your judges. Like, you treat the people who come to your show, I'm not gonna say like royalty, but you treat us like family. Like, you give us gifts. Like, I got a gift last show. So what goes into your mindset of, one, picking your people at your show, whether it's your expediters, whether it's your judges, and what's the mindset behind the gifts and the swag bags you give not only your competitors but also your judges?
Well, when we pick our judges, our expediter is very important to me, because I want someone that the competitors like backstage and can get the job done without any drama. And I kind of use the same expediter consistently because he is very, very good. And I actually taught him when I was an expediter. He was my assistant. So I feel like I know what I'm doing, so he's going to be able to do the job that I did when I taught him. So when it comes to judges, I always pick judges that I can trust, judges that are experienced. Sometimes I do have new judges, but I have experienced judges on the panel. And then because I do spoil the judges quite a bit, I have judges constantly reaching out to me asking to judge our shows, because they know they're going to have a good time. And we want it to be a great experience for you as judges, as well as it is for the competitors. That's important, because if the judges are not happy, the competitors are not going to be happy, and you may not be able to focus on your job if you don't feel like you're treated well. I've had too many judges tell me they go to shows and they don't even get a bottle of water, and inside our bags, you might get a can of coffee, you're going to get water and juices and all kinds of stuff. And then when it comes to the mindset of the special gifts, I don't know. I just like being creative. Because I own a printing shop, I have the ability to do practically anything. I do a lot of laser work and woodworking, so I can make new things. And when I have something in mind, I test those things out on the judges and I want to give it to them first. Yeah, that's from the last show. But Eric, I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna wish you was judging this show, because I came even better with
I might have to pop in and be a stand-in or something. Just let me know. I might have to come down.
Nom is mad when I showed him what I was making. He was like, "Oh my God, can I have one?" So yeah, I just really like to show you guys the appreciation and how much we really like and care for our judges. It's important, because too many times I hear judges go away and say, I didn't like judging that show. So, call it bribery, but I just really appreciate it.
That's a great thing you do, Jacquee. You really take care of your judges, because like you said, I've been to a show, which I don't care. If it happens, it happens. Shame on that promoter. But I've been to a show where the judges didn't even get water. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I would never go back and judge that show again, ever in life. So I think that's one thing you do very well. You take care of your judges as a promoter. And that was going to be one of my next questions. Like, how do you separate your show from other shows? And I think that's the biggest one. You actually take care of your judges. So let me fundle on and find something else to ask you now.
Well, there is one thing I've judged. I am a judge, and I have judged several shows before. And as a judge, I'm sitting there and I'm like, do we get some popcorn or something? 9 hours later, I'm hungry. Like, give me a protein bar or something. So and I don't. So when I go to a show, I want to separate myself by learning from those promoters and being like them or better than them. The one who taught me how to promote was our dear founder, Matt Shepley. I followed him around at the Yorton like a lost puppy, and Matt taught me everything I know. And he basically told me, who better to do it than you? And he said, when it comes to making the awards, making the labels, making the t-shirts, if you have the ability and the time to do it, you're going to do it right. And so I learned from Matt. And that's why I started making the labels and doing different things, because he told me how to keep everything in house.
Absolutely. So with y'all being in Virginia and you're having shows in Georgia and North Carolina, how difficult is it to get athletes there? And is it more of the athletes in that area coming out to y'all shows, or is it different athletes traveling from different areas coming to that show?
It's kind of different athletes from different areas. We do have some ones that continually to come back over and over to the show because they're used to how we run things. And so it does vary. Like this last show that we had a guy come all the way from California to compete in the pro show. Yeah. And we've actually had some international, the promoter from Australia actually competed in our show in September and won her pro card there. So she came from Australia to compete. So it just really does vary. But the majority of the people do come from the local area. The place that we struggle the most with is the South Carolina area. I don't know why they don't like to compete, but the people in South Carolina just don't really compete. They come from other areas.
How are you able to maintain a relationship with the community with you being in 4 or 5 different places and you're not actually in that certain area where you put on the show?
So we're also trainers, and we do have people on our team who live in those areas. So I have a young lady who's also an OCB judge. She judged at our last show. She lives in the South Carolina area, so she helps us with putting out our marketing. My sister lives in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So she goes around to the different gyms and coaches and puts our flyers and things like that up in their gyms. You know, we have Magnum's sister lives in Georgia, in the Atlanta area. His brother is down there. His mom is there. So we have a network of people that we reach out to as well as past winners. We have some past winners from some of the other shows that we send them flyers. We even put their pictures on the flyers and send it to them so they can put it in their gyms, their colleges, their high schools, and different things like that. So marketing does play a big role in keeping in contact with individuals in those areas.
So that just sounds like you actually are building quality relationships, which is, I think, great as a promoter, because sometimes you could win a show and then that's the last you hear of a promoter. They don't speak to you after that. You may see them the following year and they'd be like, oh, that's the person who won my show. But it sounds like you're actually making quality, genuine connections with that.
Oh yeah. And if they've competed a while, there's an individual named Nathan. He's really good. He's competed several times, and I felt like he would also be a good judge. So I talked to him about possibly judging and coming to test judge our show in Georgia to see if he is OCB judge quality. So we do reach out to competitors that way as well.
Nice. And since you have 5 shows, I really want to ask this, because I never asked you this in all the years I've known you. So 5 shows, you had to create 5 different names. We need to know the meaning behind these names.
Immortal Muscle, man. Believe it or not, Immortal Muscle came up with, I was watching tennis. No, Magnum Muscle. I was watching tennis. And we wanted to name that one after Magnum, which is how we came up with that. But the award came from, I'm a big tennis fanatic. In Wimbledon, they give away those really big plates. And so that's how I came up with the award, is because I love tennis and I love those big plates. When it comes to Immortal Muscle, we were just thinking about, what do you call a person? They look like this immortal god when they're ripped and looked amazing. So that's how we came up with Immortal Muscle. We wanted to find a way to say like inevitability of their muscle and their strength. And that's why we came up with Immortal. Divine Muscle was kind of just, we wanted something to say like the ultimate. And so, and beautiful. And we want another way to say that. So that's how we came up with Divine Muscle. Battle of the Unrivaled, I really don't know. I don't know. I do know that at that show, I wanted to give out swords, because I saw these really cool swords and axe, and you've seen the helmets that we give out as well. So that's how that one came up after I saw this really cool helmet. I think we were watching 300 or something. And I was like, Magnum, why don't we call it Battle of the Unrivaled? Because I like that helmet. And I went and researched and found those helmets. And that's how that came up. But VA Natural, that one was just simple and easy because it's in Virginia and is a natural show. So that one didn't really take much thought. Yeah.
Oh, it's on me now.
Yeah, it's on you. You just
sorry. I had to take a potty break. That's why I got up.
You watching you?
I did. Yeah, I did. Oh man. So where do you see this going? You and Magnum promoting shows, Magnum still competing, y'all having 7 jobs. Are y'all in this for the long haul, promoting wise?
I think so.
Are y'all looking to add on more shows?
Oh no. I don't think we want to add on any more shows, because we keep adding on too many businesses and too many jobs and too many responsibilities. And we like spending time with the kids and the grandkids and traveling and things like that. So having 5 shows is enough. Right now, we want to keep those 5 shows and just make those bigger. And as far as I think when you add on too many shows, you have a tendency to degrade the shows that you already have. And we don't want to do that. And we don't want to take away from what we already have. And we definitely don't want to take away from another promoter's area either. When it's too many shows saturated in a state or in an area or at a time frame, it just makes it more about quantity and not quality. So if we want to keep good quality shows, I think 5 is enough for us, because they are really expensive. You know, you can make money and you can lose money at these shows if you don't do it the right way. Because the payout, we paid out over $30,000 last year just in pro payouts. And yeah, that can cost a lot of money. So it's about quality for us.
So you just said something and it just sparked another question in my head. So you said like pretty much you don't want to step on another promoter's toes or whatever that the case may be.
Yeah.
So how does that work? Like, give us some behind the scenes type conversation whenever a promoter wants to go promote in an area where another promoter is at. How does that work?
You actually have to ask those other promoters. For example, we have the promoter in Wilmington, and then you have Shar and myself, and Nam is kind of in the area. You have the Jessica Powell. You have her show, No Gear, is in the area. So all of those promoters actually have to agree to bring on another promoter in our area. And then we have to agree on a time frame, because what you don't want to do is have too many shows on the same day or a weekend back to back, and they're only 100-mile radius, because someone's going to be like, well, I live in Beaufort. Why am I going to go to the show in North Carolina when the show is right here in Georgia and it's only a week apart? But if that show is 300 miles away, they might go to that show after doing our show because of the distance, so stepping on promoter shows or shoes is not what we want to do. So we do have to discuss it, talk to OCB, and make sure that everybody agrees about bringing on a new promoter in our area. That was something that Matt Shepley has started a long time ago. And I know OCB still kind of does that, because one of the promoters wanted to change her show date next year. And the promoter of the Hilton Head and myself had to agree to allow her to change her date because it's too close to our shows. So she decided to move her date ahead of us instead of behind us or on top of us. That way we can piggyback off of each other for that whole 3-week valid polygraph thing and everything like that. So that's pretty much what happens. We all have to talk to each other.
Well, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but it sounds like shows are on top of shows already. So I don't know how much communication is going on, but shows on shows. But
I know that's how it happens with me, but I don't know. I can't speak for everybody else if they talk to them, but I just know that OCD does talk to me, and we're usually on a group text with the promoters and we talk, but I can't speak for everyone else. Just I know my experience.
Well, thanks for giving us that behind the scenes, the combos that have to go on for a promoter to come into another area. That was pretty good to hear.
We will move into the first call out real quick. So you mentioned you have 7 jobs.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure if you are at a show, someone will see you in some capacity, whether you're promoting or not promoting, because you go to a lot of shows when you're not promoting as well. So of course, I do the digging. I go steal pictures. So you are behind screens because one of your 7 businesses is live stream.
Yeah.
So I know the story of how you got started, but can you please give us why you got started and why do you think it's so important for a good live stream at shows?
We got started during the COVID time. Oh my gosh. We had Magnum Muscle in a hotel ballroom in 2021, and it was absolutely horrible. There were so many people. It was so packed, but then there was still a lot of people who weren't allowed to see the show because of the limitations that we had with wearing masks and just the 6 feet, social distancing. All that was crazy. So the best thing to do was a live stream. We started out with some iPads, some Lenovo pads, and the quality was just okay. It wasn't that great, but that's all we had at the time. And that's all I knew. I didn't know anything else. I was live streaming on Instagram or, social media, different platforms like that. So then we saw how that was a big hit and a big success. So we started doing it at another show. And then I invested in a small camera, which I'm actually using right now, talking to you guys. And that small camera is a vlogging camera. And that was really nice. But after a while, it didn't capture the good quality that we needed to see individuals, up close and personal and actually see the striations, because that does matter. People can say, oh, the girl on the left looked better than the girl on the right, but that's because you're looking through the filter of a camera. And if you have a good quality live stream, then you can actually see the big picture. So once I realized that, then I started investing and using that money that we did get from live stream to buy more and more and more equipment. I am ridiculous with my equipment. I just bought a new camera like 3 days ago. It's ridiculous. But and so it's for vlogging, live streams, you know, a bunch of different things. But I feel like quality is better, and we're still getting a lot of live streams and views and the revenue that comes with that to help me keep upgrading my system, because it's important. A lot of people have, for example, we had an individual who said that their father was overseas in Iraq, and he really wanted to see the show. And so we were able to live stream the show and send them the link, and he was able to watch his daughter compete. So that was very important to us. And also we have people from all over the country who can't see their loved ones, and being able to live stream it is key for them. And also have that recording. I don't know if you guys know, but every single show that I do, and I think I live stream maybe 12 shows for OCB right now, I post them on YouTube within a day or two after every single show.
Nice. All right, my first question is, it's a two-part question. Give me your favorite show that y'all promote and why, and give me your least favorite show y'all promote and why.
Oh man, my favorite show that we promote is VA Natural, because it's at home. Living in Virginia, we have so much crap that we carry to that show, and it is clutch for us to be local, because I can really bling out the stage because everything is here at my house, and we have a trailer. But when you live in that area, we can go back and forth within a 30-minute radius instead of having to bring everything with us. And it's just easier when it's at home. And I don't have to leave 2 or 3 days early to get an Airbnb. So that has to be my favorite show. My least favorite show, I don't really have a least favorite show, but if I had to pick, it would be the first one, which is Unrivaled, only because it is so hard to get a venue, or to get a really good venue. You have to be at the mercy of the schools, because that area doesn't have any really good venues except for a Coliseum, and they want a ridiculous amount of money to rent the Coliseum. Other than that, the school, the lighting, the location, all of that is a factor, and that's probably the reason why, is because of the venue.
Good old Fayetteville, Crown Coliseum. Come on, give us a discount, please.
Home.
So, we touched on a lot, and I think I want to go back to even your check-in process, because I like to hone in on the things you're great at, because I think these do help promoters. I really like how, I think every single show that I have been to that you've been at, you're front and center. You're right there at the check-in. Like, the first person you see is usually you, and then there's usually a banner of me somewhere around there. But just say they see you. So why is it so important for people to be able to put a face to the event? Like, you are always the face. Like, even though I think people know who Magnum is, of course, because he competes, and he's probably one of the most polarizing figures here in the OCB. But then it's also important for them to know who you are. Like, you speak to everybody, you check them in. Why is that so important to you?
So I send out a lot of emails, starting 4 weeks out from the show. And I want them to know who they're talking to. And if they have a problem, they need to know who the promoter is that they need to talk to. So they say, well, I talked to the promoter, and I'm like, you talk to me. So let's clear that up, if they have any issues. So it's just good for them to know exactly who the promoter is, who they're talking to. And also, I got to have my hands on everything, because I feel like if you want it done right, you got to do it yourself kind of situation. And if anything goes wrong, then it ultimately falls on me, and I can't blame anyone else. So that's why I like to be front and center, so I can take the wins with the losses.
Oh, all right. Moving to second call out.
Second or last call out, you mean? Last call out. What you got?
If you would have put it on the screen, then I would have knew what it was, right? All right. What's one thing you wish every athlete understood about your role as a promoter?
We're busy, and please read our emails. We want you to read our emails, because every question that you email, or you ask, or you text, because a lot of them have my phone number, I don't know how, but is in the email that we send out, and it's also in the registration page. And we just want you to know that we're here for you. We're listening, but we are busy, and sometimes we don't always get to answer you right away. That doesn't mean that we don't appreciate you coming and registering. We're just busy. That's all. And there's so many things that you don't understand, huh?
Make sure you put the right email. It's not my fault if you put the wrong email and we email the wrong email. I didn't get it. You put the wrong email.
Yeah, the competitors do that. They will put the wrong email, or they will spell their own email wrong and say that they never got it. And I want you to check your spam, because I used to have a different email and it would always go to spam. But I realized if I start using a Gmail in the name of the show, like Magnum Muscle at Gmail, then usually it goes to their Gmail. So that's why I had to stop using our personal business email. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but guys, make sure you spell your email right. And sometimes I have multiple emails in there. You can email any one of them and it'll come to me. I have a lot of emails. So just be patient with us and check your spam.
All right. I have another picture.
Oh, Lord. Here you go with the pictures.
So something super simple, something super easy, right?
Yeah.
But the picture prompted the question for me of, why do you think you are able to get such high caliber athletes on your stage consistently? Like, I think VA Natural, I called it like the gateway to the Yorton, because most of the top women pros go compete there and they use it as a measuring stick for the Yorton. So why do you think that you are capable of being able to draw these athletes, and not only draw them, but also have them enjoy that experience every year?
A lot of them are returnees. They've competed in some of our amateur shows and won their pro card. And they've competed in our other shows before. So at the bottom, you'll have my name and Magnum's name, and they know it's our show, and they know it's going to be a good quality show. It's going to be ran well. We have good people. We have good judges. We have good swag. We have good communication. We have good tanning. Everything is top notch. Even the photography is great. So I think that's why we get quality athletes. And like you said, VA Natural, it is the gateway. It's their last opportunity to qualify as a pro to compete at one of the biggest pro female shows in the organization. So that is why they come back. I think they really like what we do and how we put the athletes first, because we try to think like an athlete when we're promoting our shows.
You got another one, Jamal? I got one more if you don't.
No, go ahead.
All right. So, of course, I had to steal a few. So this is kind of like I like to have. We usually ask a question, like, what advice would you give an amateur? But we're going to remix that question real quick and say, what's one thing you wish every athlete knew before stepping on the stage?
Oh man, it's difficult to say what I wish they knew, but what I wish they would understand, that it is a process and it's fun. You can treat it like a job, but make sure you just enjoy the process. And the number one thing I want them to do is not to take care of their health and their wealth. If you can't afford to do it, don't do it. Don't have your lights turned off to compete. And if you're, I know an athlete slept in his car because he couldn't afford a hotel room. And I didn't find out until after the show. If you have to do that, trying to win a pro card is not worth it to me, So your health and wealth is very, very important. And mainly your health. There's too many athletes and other organizations that are dying. And it's not healthy for you to not drink water for 2 or 3 days. It's not healthy for you to eat only protein and not eat vegetables and carbs and things like that and try to kill yourself doing cardio. That's not worth it. But mainly, I just want you to have fun and enjoy the process. And if you win your pro card, go to Yorton, see what it's like. But before you go to Yorton, compete on a pro stage, because Yorton, they will eat you up. If you've never competed as a pro, they will eat you up.
I think that's real sound advice right there. Even though we have some first timers make it, that is the truth for 93% of the other ones.
Yeah.
So
we just reached out to one and said, hey, I know you want to go to Yorton, but you might want to come to another pro show, because it's not going to be what you think. You better compete against some of those white guys first. Huh?
Wait, can you repeat that? I was talking over
I said
you.
they better compete against some of those Yorton guys at the smaller shows before they compete against all the Yorton guys, because it's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm there every year and it's crazy.
So I want you to plug your shows one more time. I know the Immortal Muscle just passed, but we do. This will be airing. This will be airing tonight. So therefore, can you please plug the other 4 shows, especially the one that's coming up shortly?
The next one coming up shortly is Magnum Muscle, which of course is named after Magnum McCrae, who is up there doing self-care right now. So that one is going to be April 19th in Liberty, South Carolina at the Pickens Performance Arts Center. That's in the Clemson area. The next one after that is going to be Divine Muscle. That's going to be August 3rd. And that is in Beaufort, Georgia at the Beaufort Community Center. And after that is going to be, I believe, September 2nd. No, 7th. I believe September. I don't know. It's in September. That's coming up. And that's VA Natural. That's going to be in Norfolk at the Kroc Center. And the last one that we'll have of the season is Battle of the Unrivaled. That's going to be in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And the location and venue, like I talked about, is so hard to find. That is TBA. So we will figure out where we're going to be, but that's going to be in November of this year.
I might need to call my connects at E. Smith. We might need to bring it to the Smith.
Yeah, bring it to the Smith. Because I tried my high school 71st, and they said, we're a classical school now. We don't do that. So it is what it is. Yeah.
But we want to thank you. Of course, they can find you at any one of these pages, but is there any other place they could contact you or find you via IG?
Jacquee_figure pro is my handle on IG. So you can find me there. As well as, like you said, the show pages.
All right. Well, you guys heard it here first. As I call her, Aunt Jacquee. We got Aunt Jacquee. Aunt Jacquee on the pod.
No, to be your aunt.
Until next time. Peace.